Stephen King is the grandfather of modern horror. The author and screenwriter has written countless scary classics spanning 5 decades, with a great deal of these stories receiving some sort of visual adaptation. While King's movies are known to run the gamut from excellent to totally cringeworthy, we've been wondering, what are our ultimate favorite Stephen King cinematic adaptations? With so many to choose from, narrowing down the selections was tough, but we've done it. Get ready. Here are Dread Central's top 5 favorite Stephen King movie adaptations.
Stephen King, The Dead Zone.
The 1983 adaptation of The Dead Zone by David Cronenberg is one of the best King films to date. It stars Christopher Walken as Johnny Smith, a schoolteacher who wakes up from a coma with inexplicable psychic abilities. The novel's grim claustrophobia is depicted well, using winter to his advantage more often than you might remember. And you'll likely never look at a charming snow-crested gazebo the same way ever again. One of the most treasured horror films of all time is The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick and based on the novel by Stephen King. The Shining is one of the most discussed and debated adaptations in the history of cinema. King, who famously had no time for this generally unfaithful adaptation, would go on to pen his own in 1997, with Mick Garris at the helm. The novel, film, and miniseries all depict a man's psychological unraveling after a winter storm leaves him and his family isolated and snowed in at a haunted hotel. Misery is the 1990 cinematic adaptation of the Stephen King novel of the same name, directed by Rob Reiner and starring Kathy Bates. One of the scariest performances of all time, Bates' turn as Annie Wilkes won her a Best Actress Oscar, making Misery the only King adaptation to earn that trophy to this day. Misery sees an author named Paul Sheldon, played by James Caan, in the clutches of an obsessed fan who lives in the snowy and isolated Silver Creek, Colorado. She forces the author to write a story she has been desperate to read, and goes to great and violent lengths to get what she wants. Lovecraftian horror meets the unfortunate terrors of human nature. The Mist is likely one of the scariest and most upsetting King adaptations ever made. The plot concerns a small-town grocery store where a group of locals is taking refuge from a strange and ubiquitous mist that has blanketed their entire village. Written and directed by Frank Darabont, this 2007 title failed to perform at the box office, and it's a goddamn shame. The Mist is a beautifully executed story of monsters, both supernatural and of the human persuasion. And that ending, my god, that ending.
Pet Sematary.
Finally, we have Mary Lambert's brutal 1989 adaptation of Pet Sematary. Based on what King deems as his scariest novel, this terrifying film concerns the parents of a young boy who meets a tragic end, and the rotting, unnatural new beginning the boy then encounters. It's upsetting, barbaric, and an absolute masterclass in storytelling from both King's script and Lambert's direction. The film would go on to earn $90 million at the box office, sprouting a sequel and an eventual 2019 remake. Those were Dread Central's 5 favorite Stephen King movie adaptations. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.